picture anyway. All right. So we're going to get into scheduling for this week, and this is a special week because I always enjoy when we get the information for next month and what's going to be happening. But first, we'll talk about what is happening for scheduling for this week, and then we'll get into and forecasting for next month and what's going on, and some updates to some of the different models as well. We'll do that in this section too, so you guys can have it. So we have all that information, and we'll get into that. So this will be a little bit longer than normal, but a lot of good information, I think, as we close out the year. But all right, for this week, let's talk about the terminologies first. All right, so we're talking about ordering and scheduling of orders, and those orders are all placed in an order bank. Ford likes to call it WebDo, WBDO. That's where dealers place the orders. They place all their stock and their retail orders in that place, and that's where Ford pushes some stock orders for dealers in there if they have allocations. And then retail orders, that is a customer placed order. So when we talk about retail and stock order is an order that's placed by the dealership for stock or lot inventory, right? For them to have on their lot. And then party codes. Party codes are given to the orders. And a party code, just as like it sounds, it is a code given so you can prioritize your orders. So they can be anywhere from an 03 to 19 for a retail order, a customer placed order, and then 20 to 80 for stock. So the lower, the better, which is why retail orders are looked at before any stock orders are when it comes to scheduling and allocations being used. Now, scheduling is when Ford schedules an order for production dates in the future months. So it's really scheduling versus production are two different things. So they're going to schedule on Thursdays for production dates in the future months. And that's what we'll talk about. We'll give you those dates of what they're scheduling for this week for each of the models. Or if a certain model isn't scheduling, we'll let you know that as well. And then production dates, first they'll get scheduled. You'll see that it gets scheduled to the week. And then as it gets closer, it'll get scheduled to the day. And so then sometimes those dates can move around. So it's just something that happens. And then allocations. We talk about that a lot in this business. Allocations are Ford gives dealers allocations to schedule their orders. So just having an order in there doesn't mean it's going to just get scheduled. A dealer has to earn those allocations to be able to schedule those orders for production dates. And then so Ford earns those based on their sales volume of each different model. So if the more that they sell in a certain model, the more allocations they receive. And so that's how Ford does that. So that way they allocate those orders and all for dealers that do really well with it. And then constraints, that is an option that might be in short supply or take longer to build, or a part issue there from the suppliers. Capacity, that's the plan's production rate of a certain given motor, trim, or option. And then so that they'll plan that for each different trim level, motor, whatever. Like Maverick, we know is 55% hybrid, 45% EcoBoost. So we know that what that capacity is. And then because there's parts issues, there could be a constraint. If there's more orders than what that capacity is, that's where you see that constraint, and that might take longer for that order to get scheduled. Job 1 and 2, production is split into several different job runs. Actually, I saw the other day there could be possibly a job 3 for a particular model this year. And so they'll split that in. If they have something that's not ready for job 1, but they need to launch that and get the production going, so people don't care about those other options, they can go ahead and get their vehicle, and then they can introduce those new things as part of job 2, whether it be a new trim or something fun, or an option that's available that wasn't quite ready for the production. Then they can introduce that into job 2. And then balance out, that's the end of production for that particular model year, typically. Sometimes balance out for good. And so you'll see today we're going to talk about a couple different models that are balanced out. It means they're done, they're finishing up, wrapping up, or they've already planned out for the end of the production for that particular model year for that vehicle. So, all right, there we go. There's that. All right, so let's get into this, and first talk about the 25 model year Mustang. The 25 model year Mustang has 667 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank, and the order banks are open, so you can place an order for a 25 model year, and they are not scheduling this week for the Mustang plant. And then Dark Horse handling package won't be available until April of 2025. If you have a Dark Horse in there, you're wanting it, dealers, if you have one, a dark horse allocation, you're going to use that allocation, you're going to have to not have one with a handling package. And if your customer really wants that, and that's the only, you're not going to get that many, then you try to hold out if you can. So we know somebody did that last year and it worked out for them. They just kept getting that allocation each pushed over to the next month. The Mustang Night Pony package with the black painted roof is available only for retail scheduling. So only for customer orders. For stock orders, the vehicle must have black exterior paint to get the black painted roof, of course. All right, that's all we have on Mustang since they're not scheduling. 25 model year Escape is next. There's currently 89 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank. The order banks are open up for all the different trim levels and powertrains, whether it be hybrid, plug-in, or whatever it might be. They are scheduled this week. They are scheduled for production weeks in December, so the weeks of December 2nd through the weeks of December 16th. Plant will be down the last 2 weeks. That's not why we're not seeing any dates at the end of December. Plants are going to be down. Ford's going to be closed. It's going to be crickets around those places for those last 2 weeks of December. Cleanup commitment. When they say cleanup commitment, that means that they're trying to finish out. If a dealer has an allocation that hasn't been, and they haven't used them all first and scheduled all their orders, then they want to clean up those allocations. They don't want those allocations rolling over to the next month. They want to start fresh. And so they're going to clean that up in a sense, right? And so they're going to try to schedule those. And that even means if they need to, a dealer's not paying attention, they might even pump in an order that they know they can schedule for that dealer so that the allocation be used. So dealers need to pay attention to that. If you don't want that configuration, you need to make sure you do something to that order so you don't get stuck with something configuration you don't like. Very limited to exhaust availability for the ST line Select, as well as the Elite and the plug-in version. Those are all very limited to exhausted. Oh, as well as the hybrid motor. So there you go. So they're going to be looking for active probably, and even platinum. It looks like they could schedule those two in the gas versions. So plug-in hybrid and hybrid are very limited to exhausted. Now, that doesn't mean they can't schedule some. They probably can schedule a couple, but it has to be just the right configuration for it to be able to be used. So, and then next up is the 25 model year Bronco Sport. There's currently only 116 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank for the Bronco Sport. Order banks are open up even for the Sasquatch package. That is available as well for you. So those are open up. Job 2 production starts February 3rd. So the first day they'll start producing Job 2 items like the Sasquatch packages for the Outer Banks and Badlands. That's not going to happen till then. They're not going to schedule those yet. Still a couple more weeks out. Could be actually towards the end of November before they're probably ready to schedule some of those, or at least mid-November. We'll keep you updated on that. They are scheduling this week. Again, cleanup scheduling, like I mentioned earlier, for anybody that has allocations that haven't been used for those first 3 weeks of December. And then, Sasquatch Outer Banks package is available Q1, like we talked about. That'd be February. Badlands Sasquatch as well. So there you go. You can place those orders now. They just won't get scheduled until they're ready to start scheduling those February production dates. Limit availability for the molded in splash guards. You shouldn't be putting those on your order anyway, my opinion. Also, limit availability for the convenience package, as well as the black appearance package that's available on the Outer Banks and Big Bend, I believe. And then very limited to exhausted availability for the Outer Banks version, the Badlands version, and the Big Bend version. And then also for the Outer Banks Tech package. And then the all-season tire. That's the one that's standard on most of your trim levels, except for like Badlands. And then the 17-inch carbonized gray painted aluminum wheel. So a lot of different things that are available there. Again, this is cleanup scheduling. Most of their allocations and most of their production has been planned out. So they're just going to try to get dealers to fill in any leftover allocation. I think all of ours were used. Most dealers have used theirs. There's going to be a very select few that maybe they didn't have any retail orders, or they didn't have any good stock orders in there that had viable configurations that they can actually schedule. That just is going to need to get cleaned up and fill in their production for the rest for that month in December. So, all right. Next up, 24 model year Bronco. There's only 148 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank for these. And I think I looked them up, and over half of those are like Raptor or Heritage Edition or Heritage Limiteds. which is crazy. Probably most of them are Raptors. The order banks are open up for the 25 model year. Pricing is still not in there. Build and price is still not available yet either. So I don't know there. So like most people they're really not. A lot of people aren't ordering without knowing the price. So I don't know, Ford realizing that. I think they're working hard. Hopefully we'll get some information real soon. They are scheduled this week though for 24 model year for those production weeks in the first 3 weeks of December. This is balance out scheduling here. So they are finishing out. This might be the last week, maybe next week of 24 model year. They're closing out. They're getting those dates in there. Again, the plan will be down a couple weeks there at the end of December, and then they'll start production for 25 after that. So we need to be able to place orders for 25 so that we can get those, think about getting scheduled in a couple weeks, but it's going to be hard to put orders in without prices. But anyway, Ford knows that. Best availability for using your allocations for dealers. I think we have a few that can be used. 2.3 liter. 4-door Outer Banks without the Sasquatch package. Also 2.3 liter 2-door Heritage Edition and 2.7 liter 4-door Wildtrak. So those are the configurations. It's the best availability if you're a dealer out there that has allocations that needs to be used. Gun for those those configurations to get to use your allocations. Important notice, it says Bronco Raptor is balanced out. Badlands is balanced out as well. So the 2-door and the 4-door configuration looks like here. That's balanced out. The hardtop carbonized gray molded in color has balanced out for 24 model year. And the molded in color one without the headliner is also balanced out. So that's option 43L and 43M. So, those configurations are balanced out. So if you're someone out there, if you're a dealer going, okay, well then I need an Outer Banks without the Sasquatch package, make sure you added the black painted hardtop, or probably won't schedule, right? Because those are balanced. The molded in top have been balanced out, right? So learning this stuff is what we're trying to teach you here on this live stream. Also, if you're at a Wildtrak, same thing. You're going to want that black painted hardtop, or else you're not going to probably get it scheduled. So you got to make sure you make those tweaks. Badlands is balanced out, so you're not going to want to do those. Anyway, so there you go. All right. Next up, 24 model year Mach-E. Only 34 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank for the Mach-E. The 25 model year order bank is open up right now. You can place those orders, cheaper prices, lower prices on about every trim level. So be looking at that. And they're going to start scheduling this 25 model year starting at the very end of November, almost December. So that week of 11/28 is when they're going to start scheduling 25 model years. So plenty of time to put those orders in. No scheduling this week for Mach-E. They have actually balanced out of 24 model year. So they're done. So those 34 orders that are in there aren't going to get scheduled. So hopefully whoever has those orders, they place a 25 model year order. They probably won't want at 25 anyway. Better options, lower prices, makes sense, right? So it kind of made sense that they were done scheduling 24s after they did pricing because everybody's gonna want a 25 at that point. So there you go. That's all we have on that. All right, next up, 25 model year Explorer. Currently 513 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank for Explorer. Order banks are open up for the 25 model year. They're on job 2 at this point in there, and they are scheduled this week for those first 3 weeks in December for build dates. Cleanup commitment as well on this. You're going to see that on a lot of these. Usually when you start hearing cleanup commitment, that means they're about done with this month's allocations for those December build dates, and they're going to start working towards January's and such next week probably. So anyway, either that or the week after. So so on Explorer, limit availability for the active version, and then also limit availability for the 20-inch bright machine aluminum wheel. That's $649. The 21-inch aluminum premium wheel, that's $64Z. The magnetite 21-inch painted wheel that's standard on the ST 400A. It's included in the ST line street package on the ST line 300A. And then also the 3.0 EcoBoost engine, which that engine is going to be standard on ST line, or ST, sorry, as well as the Platinum Ultimate, right? Gets that engine. Very limited to exhausted availability for the 2.3 liter engine. So you're better off finding something with a 3.0 because that's only limited. The very limited to exhausted is the 2.3 because those are the only 2 engines. So again, they're just trying to fill in the last commitments of their production of what they can produce there for December. All right, next up, 24 model year Expedition. They're done actually. No schedule this week for that. They're balanced out for 24 model year. The order banks are open up for the 25 model year. So they're open. We're doing videos on those. Their 25 model year will start scheduling the week of 10/18. It says that actually didn't happen. So that's not right. I bet you they're looking for 11 because I think actually they're doing that in November. So they should take that note out because that's not right. All right. Other than that, we don't have anything on Expedition. So 25 model year Maverick. Currently 3,059 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank. Not many at all. The order banks are open up for the 25 model year. Job 2 order bank is not open yet. So so you want to hold off still. If you're wanting one of those, the trailer, the Pro Trailer Backup Assist and Hitch Assist, hold off still placing that order. Don't want to place that yet. Of course, that'll be a job. Job 2 production will start with production dates in February. So they haven't even scheduled January yet. So you want to wait. That I've been told that's going to be later than expected. It's going to be like they said, almost the end of November before they're going to be able to start scheduling job 2s. So wait until you hear. I'll give you the all clear on my Maverick Monday video. So be looking for that. They are scheduled this week for production dates in those first 3 weeks of December. Again, cleanup scheduling for dealers that have that. So originally they were going to be scheduled February, December, and January's build dates this month, but I think they're going to be shifting that to still doing that next month. Update. Don't forget Lobo version also, just like the trailer isn't going to start production till February. You can place those orders for 702A, but the 402A is not available yet. We'll talk more about that in our at the end here. And then best availability for the Maverick is an XL version, believe it or not, XL version, as well as the XLT version. And then front wheel drive or all wheel drive, it says. And then limit availability for the trailer hitch. That's the hitch receiver that is also in the 4K tow package. So if you have the 4K tow package, that could affect yours being scheduled. XLT luxury package as well as limit availability, and very limited to exhausted availability for the 4-wheel drive, the advanced 4-wheel drive, I should say. So that's your Tremor there, though that's very exhausted. Crazy. And then also the all-season tire that's standard on about all your Mavericks. So again, if you're looking to get one scheduled, if a dealer has an allocation available and your order is in there, you're probably going to need to be looking at that optional wheel with the aggressive tire option, like we've had for a lot of vehicles that we have on our lot right now. So there you go. That's Maverick. All right, next up, 24 model year Ranger. Ranger is balanced out. There's 334 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank. And I think some of those are for 25 model year. But 24 model year Ranger is balanced out. Order banks are open up right now for the 25 model year. So you can place those orders, and that's all we have for Ranger. All right, next up, 25 model year Super Duty. Currently 9,592 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank, and I think that's for both 24 and 25. The order banks are open up for the 25 model year right now, and this week they are going to be scheduling for the 25 model year startup scheduling for Kentucky for build dates the week of December 9th. So that's going to be happening. 24 model year scheduling still happening at Ohio Truck Assembly Plant for the week of December 9th through January 13th. So that's kind of a weird thing. They have two different plants making the Super Duties. Ohio usually builds those cabin chassis, those types of trucks. And all that, whereas Kentucky usually does a single rear wheel F-250s, 350s. I am not sure. The 450s, I think, are built in Kentucky, but those might be built in Ohio. I'm not sure. But anyway, so there you go. Startup scheduling for 25 model year. And then limit availability for the 18-inch sparkle silver painted aluminum wheel with the bright hub covers and center ornaments that's standard on the XLT, F-250 and F-350 single rear wheel. The lug nut cap that's included in the 17 and 18-inch argent painted steel with the painted hub cover and center ornament. That is also limited availability. The lug nut cap that's available on the XL, Lariat, King Ranch, Platinum, 4x4 F-250s, F-350 single rear wheel. with the 10.5 and 11.6 and 11.8 axles. And then also it says 11.x axle size available on the F250 350. I think they forgot to fill that in. The Dana axle M300, the heavy duty rear that's optional on the F450, F550 dual wheel chassis cabs with the 6.7 liter diesel engine, or the F600s with the 7.3 liter engine. Those are all, that's also limited availability. And then the Max Recline seats that are available on the King Ranch Platinum and Limited are also limited availability. And lastly, the power sliding rear window that's available on your crew cab and super cabs are also limited availability for that. So you'll see some change and shift on that because now they're resetting for 25 model year. So some of those constraints still continue into 25 model year. Switching model years doesn't change that. So. All right, next up, 25 model year F-150 is currently 2,890 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank. The order banks are open up for the 25 model year. You can place those orders. They are scheduled this week for production week, December 16th. The week is December 16th. And then F-150 notes will be, okay, that's just a note for us as dealers. No other notes there. So there you go. Yeah. No constraints on F-150. Crazy. There aren't that many orders in there. Next up, 24 model year Transit. Currently 2,579 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank. The order bank is closed. Actually, take that back. It closes in tomorrow for the 24 model year. 25 model year order bank is open up right now, so you can place those in there. So, and then they are doing balance out scheduling this week for those first 3 weeks in December that we talked about earlier. So they're wrapping up 24 model year. Same way on some of the others where they're going to start production for 25 at the beginning of January. Transit trail orders. They are not offering the transit trailer at this time. So they said that this point in time, they're pausing it because they're not only having issues with supply, but they also having issues with some other recall stuff on the transit trail right now. So right now they're just kind of pausing until they can figure all that out. So there you go. And then very limited exhaust availability for the high roof, as well as the 5th row double seat. So there you go. So that's only the exhausted availability other than your transit trail. So if you have a transit trail, you're in bad luck right there. So there's that. All right. Now, what I want to do is, well, we've covered what's going on for this week so far. I want to talk about what's schedule looks like for next month, and what each model is going to be scheduling for, what dates they're going to be scheduling for, and everything for you. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 vehicle lines that are starting. They're going to be startup scheduling next month. In the month of November for those January build startup dates. So let's go through these. 25 model year Mach-E on January and February. Again, this month here, they're not going to be scheduling in December. So November, they're going to schedule for 2 months on a lot of these. So because they're not going to schedule in December. So Mach-E, they're going to schedule for 2 months, January and February startup. So 8 weeks of production, the weeks of January 6th through February 24th. So they're going to be scheduling for those dates. So 8 weeks of scheduling next month. Now, I'm not sure when this is going to start up. Probably the right after the 8th, whatever that is. So probably that second week of full week of November is when we're going to start scheduling for this stuff. 25 model year Mustang. They're going to be scheduled for January and February build dates, 8 weeks as well. This will be the balance out for job 1. So I don't know what changes they're going to make for job 2. I don't have that information. I'll kind of look at the order guide and see if I just overlooked that. But they're going to be scheduling for dates from the weeks of actually December 30th through the weeks of February 17th. And it does have a note in here, Night Pony package with the black painted roof is retail only, which we knew already. And then also talking about Mustang, the Dark Horse, they're going to be scheduling, it says January through job 1 balance out. So they're going to be scheduling that. No Dark Horse performance package yet. That's that handling package, and limited Dark Horse appearance packages as well. So they're going to be scheduled. It does say production weeks through February 17th. So anyway, and then 60th anniversary Mustang also is going to be balanced out for job 1 of those 8 weeks. Same weeks in there as well for that. So All right. And then 25 model year Escape. They are scheduled for, again, 2 months, January and February, 8 weeks of production. Theirs are going to be the weeks of January 6th through February 24th. It says no control on the plug-in hybrid, or no, that's just the hybrid. So that means that there's no control. It means there's no constraints, really, in a sense. And then the Escape plug-in also is the same 8 weeks as well as the regular Escape and hybrids. 25 model year Bronco is going to be startup scheduling for 7 weeks of production, January and February build dates, starting to January 13th through the week of February 24th. And that also goes for Bronco Raptor. Bronco Raptor is also those same dates as well. So, and then there's no notes on there for that. So, 25, but they won't probably be scheduling for any strop Broncos. So, 25 model year Bronco Sport, they're going to be doing February, it says, job 2 startup. So they're going to be scheduling for February build dates. So 4 weeks for those Sasquatch packages will now be available to start scheduling. Not yet, but in November for those dates, February 3rd through the week of February 24th. And then 25 model year Explorer is going to be scheduled for 2 months, January, February build dates, 1/6 through 2/24, the week of 2/24, with no notes there on that. 25 model year Expedition startup scheduling for January and February, it says. So January 6th through February 24th. The okay to buy is not planned until February. So they're going to be building them, they're going to be holding them, and I think their goal is the middle of February for that okay to buy to get released out of the factory to people. So if you have one on order, let's say it gets built in January, don't expect it to be leaving the factory until late February. Just clue you in on that. Yeah. 25 model year Maverick. It is going to be February job 2 startup. They're going to be scheduling 2/3 through the week of 2/24, 4 weeks of production there. So again, they're not scheduling those yet. So we'll let you know when job 2 scheduling starts, because they haven't even scheduled out February or January build dates yet. So be patient on that. 25 model year Ranger. January and February startup, just like Bronco. And then it says they're going to, so 1/13 through the week of February 24th. No 2.7 control, it says. So that means that they're not limited and constrained on the 2.7 liter motor. And then Ranger Raptor, also the same dates. So January 13th through February 24th, the week of. Wait. Yes. So, all right. And then next is 25 model year F-150. They are doing job 1 balance out for January and February build dates. And actually, they're doing more than just January and February. It's going from the week of 12/30, the end of December, through March 10th. So they're going to be scheduling for all those dates. So it says 11 weeks at Kansas City and 7 weeks at Dearborn, because they've been scheduling at Dearborn and not scheduling Kansas City yet. So they're going to start scheduling Kansas City truck plant, or assembly plant, I should say, for those dates. And then Raptor and Raptor R are going to be those same dates. Actually, it's not. Take that back. So they're going to be scheduling for January and February, 7 weeks of each of those, 12/30 through 2/10 for both Raptor and Raptor R. And Raptor, they have shifted the capacity. It is back to 35% for the 801A and 65% for the 802A. At one point, they were 40 and 60. Evidently, they needed to shift back to what they were doing before that. So, all right, 25 model year Super Duty. They're going to be scheduling at Kentucky for 7 weeks, Ohio for 6 weeks for the 25 model year, for build dates 1/13 through 2/24. 25 model year Transit is January and February startup. So they're going to be 6 weeks of dates are going to schedule for 1/20 through 2/24 for the Transit. So there you go. There's kind of what's going on and forecast for that. Yeah. So hopefully that helps you out and kind of knowing what's going on, especially if you've been waiting for some of those maybe job 2 stuff, or you've been waiting for 25 model year to start scheduling, if you have that order in, it's coming pretty soon. It'll be in November. And again, there won't be any scheduling in December. So they're going to schedule in November for 2 months of production. So if you have any questions, if you're watching the video from Wednesday, drop them down in the comments. And we'll reply to those as quick as I can. If you're watching the live stream with us, you can answer your questions right now. So let's pop on over to Sarah and take those questions.